Welcome back to the channel, guys. First filmed workout of the year going down again in the lovely Sanctuary Gym in Glasgow. Hope you all had an amazing Christmas and New Year. To follow along from the series in which we were running towards the tail end of last year, today it will be our leg session. And it will be a slightly different leg session from what you might see a lot of other fitness coaches or influencers do online, because recently I've ran into some issues with my lower body. I've got like a bursitis in my knee, which is essentially a problem which 80-year-old women get. So I've had to change the way I train slightly for the lower half, and hey ho, it is what it is. I'm going to run through today in this session the warm up, how we're going to heat the legs up, how we're going to avoid putting too much stress in the knee, and how I'm still building my lower half whilst managing an injury. So we're going to kick things off with a little bit of mobility routine. Usually I would do my steps and whatnot, but recently I bought a treadmill for the house, which is ideal, and a weighted vest. So I've already done workout number 1 and got some movement in. This will be workout number 2. We're going to dive in, get some mobility in check, and then crack into the workout. So a big thing that's commonly overlooked with, I'd probably say about 9 out of 10 gym goers, is actually taking the time to mobilise and warm up properly. And I'm not thinking just static stretching, I'm thinking more dynamic stretching, especially if you've got some injuries, especially if you've got some tight areas in your body that, you know, are quite susceptible to getting injured. It's probably wise to take the time at the start of every session to just mobilise, heat the body up, and get moving and grooving before you dive into the main meat and veg of a workout. So starting off here with a deep squat, but moving side to side, open up the ankles, the knees, the hips. And a big thing with the squat as well, when you're in this position, you want to make sure that your heels aren't driving up. That's just, you know, a big no. So one thing you want to do when you're in this deep squat is make sure that the heels aren't lifting. When they lift, that just indicates that you've got tight hips and tight, I'd probably say tight hamstrings. So trying to get yourself into this position, hold that. And then we could work some rotations. This one here is called an elephant walk. And again, just warming up the knees, the hamstrings, the hips, the lower back. A wee tip when you're down in this position here is let's say if I'm trying to stretch my lower abdomen round about the hip flexor area, push through your right foot and almost straighten your leg and pull your stomach up that little bit more and breathe into it. You can do that on both sides. Take a wee step back. And again, this will open up the hips a little bit more here and pull the hamstrings open a little bit more here. And I'm almost just pulsing into that. Let's get that stretching out a wee bit more. The thing is with your mobility as well, you don't want to spend too much time on it, maybe 5-10 minutes max. But taking this time is going to be massive for getting that mind-body connection. Making sure that if you do have any tightnesses, injuries, little niggles or knots, that everything feels, you know, well looked after. So if you jump into a session and you're cold, you won't really know, whereas if you take this time to actually warm up and get things moving a little bit, you can be like, okay, my hamstrings are really tight today, or my calves, or my back or something. And this just allows you time to gauge what you should and shouldn't do in a session. I think so often we have these programs, we have these workout regimes, and we just follow it exactly to the T, and it might not suit you, it might not suit your body, it might not suit what you should actually do in that given day. And when you take this time to mobilise, it's going to give you that first person insight to whether or not you should be doing it. This one here, absolutely phenomenal for the shoulders and the lats. Oh. Wow. And if you do lack that lower body mobility and you want to learn how to stretch your hip flexors, this one here, anyone can do this. Really easy to get yourself into. Find yourself a box. Just position your hands on it and sink yourself in. And just allow that back leg to drop. And the higher you can lift your chest, even if you do a wee side bend, a wee side stretch, you feel everything open up nicely. You can see I'm kind of nestling my foot back. That's just me trying to find the trigger point, the sweet spot we'll call it, for where my foot should actually lie. And just opening up the hips as well, hip swings. You almost want to let your body follow the leg in which you're swinging. It just feels a lot more natural that way. Alright, so warm up done. We're going to get into some pre-exhaustion for the quads, get some blood rushing through the hammies as well, and then we can dive in to the real workout here. So 40 reps later, definitely feel a little bit of a warm up in the quads now. So just for safety and for precaution, probably do a little bit of sled work as well, some pushes and pulls on this track. I don't actually know they had a track in here, but props to these guys in Sanctuary for putting it together. So probably up and down the track maybe 2 or 3 times. Again, just really getting as much blood into the quads. Make sure all the small little kind of intramuscular tissue is all warmed up. There's no aches and pains, because again, like I said earlier, if you're in pain during a warm-up, then how's the actual core workout going to be for you? So making sure everything's nice and warm, we're ready to train when the time comes. A big tip on this, which I'd like to share, is that you don't need to go that heavy, especially during your warm-up sets. You see a lot of people in gyms like slouch on this bit of kit, like relax and drive their hips too far forward. You want to keep a nice upright torso and really focus on squeezing through the knees and confirming every rep with as much intent as you possibly can. It's not a machine that I use all too often, but I thought today, just because I'm taking a bit more of a proactive approach to make sure my knee is not getting aggravated, that working on other areas of the legs like the glutes, the hips, the hamstrings, it's probably going to be a far more beneficial approach rather than just jumping straight into the quad work. Because that's all guys really focus on. A lot of people only focus on the muscles they can see straight away, quads, chest, biceps. But all those other muscles, if worked with as much intensity or effort, you can correct your physique massively. If your body works in unison, you don't want to be leaving any stones left unturned. So, same again in reverse. For the adduction and abduction, just 2 sets between 10 and 12 reps. 1 light, 1 heavy. 1 set to prime, 1 set to load. Personally for me, if I'm going to use a hamstring curl machine, it's always going to be the lying leg curl. Just feels so much better, you get more drive, whereas the seated one, I don't like the pressure being on top of my quads, and I always feel like my arse wants to lift off the seat.
You've got to readjust like 3 times in the set.
Yeah. Whereas on this, you can really drive your hips in, roll the upper back forward, and just really compact yourself in a beautiful position to load from. And that's what's going to obviously get the most bang for buck with your hamstrings when it comes to actually training them. So I'm going to hit probably between 2 and 3 sets of this. Go with my nice high rep warm up set and take it down to a heavy working. It's also quite good on leg days because you can just sit down for half the workout and just bury your head. They just let the legs do the work. So one wee tip, right? When you actually lie on this, your back actually wants to like hyperextend. I would recommend you roll your hips under, so actually drive your glutes in and down, and keep the core tight, keep the chin tucked. Always keeping the toes pointing straight down. You don't want to point them like towards the wall, you want to point them at the ground. Otherwise your calves will contract, and that's what we want to avoid. Love this. Alright, so that was 15 reps set. Done and dusted there. We're going to go for a 10 and an 8 for the next 2 sets, so loading a hell of a lot heavier. One thing that I actually have missed doing today is starting with calves. I usually like to get the calves going, but I didn't see a wee calf raise machine, so we'll maybe leave them to the end. I didn't actually hit all the reps I wanted on the weight that I'd planned, so a little bit of a punishment in which I give myself is if I don't hit the reps, I drop the weight by half and I have to complete the subsequent amount of rep ranges on a lighter weight. So if I was meant to go for 8 on the first set and I failed, you drop the weight by half and then finish the other 8. So you're getting a lot of volume packed into one set. Yeah, it might be a little bit lighter, but you're still getting the stimulus. And to be honest, your body doesn't really know what weight you're lifting. So as long as you're hitting it with good volume, intensity, winning. On this machine more than anything else, because I think I'm going to move into some like barbell work in a minute. I'm just trying to make sure that mind muscle connection with my glutes is like so fired up more than anything else. Like, it needs to be 100%. Like, I just like everything that I'm doing right now is just getting the hammies, getting the hips, getting the glutes, getting everything as warm as it could be, working like sub-maximally. So when I go for like RDLs and squats, leg press, that's where I'm going to recruit the muscle. This is all just activation, warm-up stuff. Yeah, you'll build some muscle and some tissue, but I'm just looking out for the safety of my lower half than anything else. And if you spend a lot of time getting the blood in the muscles, when you actually start loading them properly, the chances of making far, far superior gains are 10 times higher. Whew. Another 10 for the boys. Jesus. Oh. The legs are already starting to shake a wee bit, so fuck everything that I've just said previously. This is the core workout, this is the real workout. Time for some RDLs with these. Range of motion is absolutely everything. If you want that big stretch in the back of the leg and the hamstring, right? You see the range of motion does lower, the heavier I do get. And this is almost like reverse compound loading, starting off by really taking it to a full range, lighter loads, higher reps, then dropping it, shortening the range, and working on different components of your strength over the course of a couple of sets. So we'll probably start off with like 35 kilo. I think with movements like that, just try not to rush it. Like, as long as you're really focusing on the quality of the rep, the stretch, the range of motion, the time under tension, that's all that matters. I've only done 8 reps there. If usually I've done like a 100-meter dash, like I'm out of breath off the back of that. It's like you're working hard, you're burning a lot of calories during a leg day. And when you can just slow things down, leave your ego at the door, you just have a much funner experience every time you're training. And the thing with me as well, like I change my philosophy with training every other week sometimes. Some days I'll be like, nope, I'm only working to here. Some days I'm like, no, I'm going all the way. I just go with what feels good in the day. Like the movement's the movement. But how you perform it, that's a whole different kettle of fish. And that's why training's endless. You can constantly develop and better yourself on the same weight, but just done differently. And I think that's what a lot of people tend to miss over time. But again, as I say, I've been doing this 10 years. It's fun to experiment with new things. So another 8 reps, bagged and tagged. Slightly different range of motion there. Instead of taking them all the way to the floor with a slight pause, just taking about mid-shin, straight back up, keeping the core nice and tight. One thing I'm super cautious of is trying not to run into any issues, any compromisation of the lower back. If I feel my lower back feels sore or tight or out of place, or I'll stop straight away. Like, my ego is not so big that I'll muster through or push through a set, which might subsequently lead to further injury down the road. It's just something you gotta watch out for, because I'd rather train every day for the rest of my life rather than train hard for the next 5 years, then have to, like, I don't know, give up or change something or try something different. It's like, you gotta be wise, you gotta be smart, you gotta listen to your body more than anything else. Now, the thing is, I've got wrist straps when you kind of, attach the dumbbell to your hand, but I just think it makes the dumbbell handle thicker. It makes it even harder to fucking hold. So I'd rather work on my real, true, raw grip strength rather than wrap my hand to the dumbbell and compromise the volume or compromise the set quality or duration, because if I can't even hold on to it, that's all I'm going to be focused on. I can't actually have that mind muscle connection with the area I'm trying to target. So I've got them in my bag, but fuck even using them. I got them for like Christmas. Shit Christmas present. Let my legs recover a wee bit. What was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 exercises in. And we're only really starting the workout. I say starting the workout. We started the workout upstairs when we started warming up, but it's a lot of volume to hit on weaker areas rather than just going out to the gym and, firing 350 in your back and taking it for a couple of sets of squats. Like, it's just going to mean I'm going to have to lift lighter on this. Maybe hit, your between 6 and 8 reps for a couple of sets. But it means I'm not going to compromise my body, lift too heavy and run into injury potentially, which is the thing I'm trying to watch out for or look out for the most. So yeah, it might be something to consider, guys, when you're training legs. Don't just think ego and lift heavy. Hit the volume first, pump the legs, then go to your squats or your deadlifts and see what you can lift. It's probably your true strength is found there. So I'm going to work 3 sets with 6 reps today. At 60, 100, we'll see what 140 is looking like. Even on that warm-up set with just a bar, I was like Bambi on ice. My legs were starting to shake. So we'll see what we get here. I've not got high expectations, to be honest. That felt nice. I think a cool thing to consider with squats is try to take it like a leg press. Turn your body into a machine. Nice tight core, really strong grip and bar positioning through your upper back, your traps. A wee tilt in the hips on the way back, and I'm not plummeting down ass to grass. I'm going to where my legs feel loaded under tension. And get that slow contraction, squeeze, and then driving back up. Any lower, I can feel my knees start to get a little bit weird. So I just work a range that works for me. And that's given me the confidence today. So I'm going to jump up another plate, try to push for 6 reps again. And we can move on to the next exercise, because I'm feeling good with these. I'm really happy with that. Very slow, steady 140 there. Took it one at a time. Felt alright. The squats definitely used to be a lot better than that. Hey ho, something to improve on. Little pro tip for you between sets of calves, right? If you tend to find them cramping up, getting tight, work this limb lengthening technique of just stretching your calf after every set. 10 seconds, deep stretch, let everything open up nicely. Then you can swap over. So I think as well, if you want your calves to grow, very similar to the triceps or some of the other shit I've been saying over the last couple of episodes of this, it's like stretch the fascia, stretch that little that cellular tissue around the muscle, break it open, allow more blood, more volume to be introduced to the muscle without even adding any extra real stimulus other than just a stretch. So this actually feels amazing. My calves are extremely tight today. So I'm doing about 2 rounds, 10 seconds as my rest on each calf. And then I can jump straight back into it. The muscle's warm, it's all lengthened. Therefore, when we load it again, pump more blood in, it will expand further and further. It's not nice though. Like, it does hurt quite a lot, especially if you do have tight calves. But I can tell you it's going to bring a hell of a lot more ankle mobility into the game if you continue to do this. Damn. Yeah. I'm quite jacked up. Let's stretch them a wee bit more. I'm at that stage of the leg workout now when I'm shaking like a shitting dog. Everything's kind of trembling a wee bit. Oh. So last exercise of the leg workout going in. Done lunges, sled push, mobility, RDLs, hamstring curls, adductors, abductors, hip thrust, barbell squats. I've nearly done every movement. Time for some leg press. So I'm only doing 2 sets, 20 reps, but I don't do like a big wide half rep thing. I'm gonna do close stance cannonball. I can't really do leg extensions because like the pressure on my knee when you take it through that kind of angle, the angle of force just like goes against what my body likes. It's just not good. So I go quite close, I allow my heels to rise up, and that gets me like fucking so deep. And that's where I'm going to get that kind of vastus medialis, that VMO stimulation, so I can actually have like nice, well-rounded shaped legs. So we'll see how this goes for the set number 1. A wee bit higher. Oh. Damn. Yeah, I got the legs going. So I hit like 14 reps there, like really low and close. And my knee started to do that thing that I know it does when it's like, nah, So I just pushed up the pad a wee bit, dispersed the load a little bit more through the hammies, take a bit of pressure off the knee joint, just to allow my legs to continue repping out and finish it. Right. The thing is, as well, with a lot of my workouts, don't rest too long. It's like volume, volume, stimulus, stimulus, volume, volume. I think if you train with volume in mind, over load, you might have more longevity in the game, run into less injuries, and it's rich for me to actually say that considering I've got a lot of injuries. But just my thoughts. Oh my god. They're fucking on like Donkey Kong. Oh my god. Oh baby. Yeah. Call that a leg workout. It was good. First proper leg workout I've been able to do since Athex. And I think doing that approach will help. Just from getting everything really warmed up before any heavy loading. Sadly, I've had to pull away quite a bit of my conditioning work just because of the impact. But yeah, I feel good. I think I've been challenged to do like a air assault calorie burn thing in a minute. So I'm going to let till these puppies drain out a wee bit and give it a wee blast. Set for calories though. Right, yep. Ah, 23 seconds. Oh. So, leg day wrapped up. Another phenomenal workout. Pretty gruesome towards the tail end there, especially after doing a 25 calorie challenge on the air assault bike. Got 23 seconds, which was, I could do better after maybe an upper body day, but after legs, not ideal at all.
Record was 18.
Ah, 18. Christ. Guy must have been, I don't know.
Dosed up on pre.
Dosed up on pre and very well rested. Because I feel like I'm either going to spew or shit myself. Too much information, potentially. But yeah, fucking hell. We were going to try record another push-pull legs, but we've done the push, the pull, the legs and the run workout, which has pretty much covered everything, to be honest. I think the next two workouts we're going to film, the two new workouts I've actually been doing, which are the power days, which are full body workouts. So we'll be bringing new content to the channel. It's going to get spicy, it's going to get exciting, and we're going to bring a new dynamic of training variables for you guys to play with. So guys, have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in. Drop a follow, a like, a share, a comment, whatever you do on YouTube. We'll see you in the next video.